What if everything you've been told about life and death is a carefully constructed lie? What if your soul's journey began long before your first breath? And what if there's an ancient text that proves it? You're about to discover something that will shake the very foundation of how you see yourself and your purpose. For over 12 centuries, a forbidden manuscript has been hidden from humanity. Not lost by accident, but deliberately buried because it contains knowledge that threatens the very systems designed to keep you small, confused, and controllable. This isn't another spiritual theory or feel-good philosophy. This is documented evidence of your soul's sacred preparation before entering this world. And once you understand what really happened before you were born, you'll never see your life the same way again. So hit that like button right now if you're ready to remember what they made you forget, and let's dive into the most closely guarded secret in human history. Picture this. Somewhere in the dusty archives of an ancient monastery, buried beneath centuries of deliberately forgotten knowledge, lies a manuscript that religious authorities and governments would pay millions to keep hidden. It's called the Codex Animae, written over 1,200 years ago by a secret order of mystics who understood something about human existence that modern society has spent centuries trying to erase. Why would anyone want to hide this knowledge? Because it reveals that you are not a victim of random circumstances. You are not a powerless being thrown into chaos without purpose. You are the architect of your own existence, and you chose every single detail of your life before you ever took your first breath. The manuscript describes 7 distinct stages your soul experienced before incarnating into this physical body. 7 sacred preparations that determined everything from your family lineage to your deepest challenges, from your greatest gifts to your most painful lessons. And here's what's absolutely mind-blowing. You actively participated in designing all of it. Right now, as you're listening to this, something inside you is stirring. That restless feeling you've carried your entire life, that sense that something is missing from the story you've been told about who you are and why you're here. That's not imagination. That's your soul remembering. Every great spiritual tradition speaks of this pre-existence knowledge, but they've been watered down, mistranslated, and deliberately obscured over the centuries. The Codex Animae, however, provides specific details about what actually happens in the realm between lives. It maps out your soul's journey with precision that would make modern scientists weep with envy. And before we go any further, I need you to understand something crucial. This isn't about religion. This isn't about joining anything or believing in any particular doctrine. This is about remembering your own experience. This is about reconnecting with knowledge that already exists within you, waiting to be awakened. The first stage your soul experienced is called the call of universal consciousness. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever felt a deep, inexplicable longing for something you couldn't name? A homesickness for a place you've never been? That restlessness that makes you search for meaning in a world that seems determined to keep you distracted and unconscious. According to the Codex, this longing isn't random. It's an echo of the moment when the universal consciousness itself issued a call to your soul. Not a command, not a demand, but an invitation. A cosmic whisper that said, "It's time to grow. It's time to evolve. It's time to take on the ultimate challenge of conscious existence." Your soul, existing in a state of pure awareness and unlimited potential, heard this call and made a choice. The most important choice any consciousness can make. You chose to leave the comfort of spiritual certainty and dive into the messy, beautiful, painful, transformative experience of human life. But here's what they don't want you to know. You didn't make this choice lightly. You didn't stumble into existence by accident. You were briefed. You were prepared. You went through an extensive planning process that would make NASA's mission preparation look like child's play. The second stage is what the ancient text calls the life review. Before you could move forward into a new incarnation, your soul needed to understand the full impact of your previous existences. Not for judgment, not for punishment, but for learning. Imagine experiencing every action you've ever taken from multiple perspectives simultaneously. Every word you spoke, every kindness you showed, every moment of cruelty or indifference. But you didn't just remember these moments, you felt them. When you helped someone, you experienced their relief and gratitude. When you hurt someone, you felt their pain as if it were your own. This isn't about guilt or shame. This is about developing cosmic empathy. Your soul needed to understand the ripple effects of consciousness in action before it could make informed decisions about its next journey. And here's something that will blow your mind. According to the Codex, you forgave yourself for everything during this review. Every mistake, every failure, every moment of weakness was seen through the lens of love and understanding. Your soul recognized that all experiences, even the painful ones, were necessary steps in your evolution. This is why forgiveness feels so powerful when you finally manage it in this life. You're not just releasing others from your judgment, you're remembering the cosmic forgiveness you've already given yourself. The third stage brought you before what the Manuscript calls the Council of Souls. Picture the most loving, wise, and compassionate beings you can imagine. Ancient consciousnesses who have walked every possible path of existence, who understand the intricate web of karma and growth that connects all life. These weren't judges sitting in condemnation. They were advisors, consultants, spiritual architects helping you design the perfect curriculum for your soul's next semester in the University of Existence. Together, you analyzed what qualities your soul still needed to develop: courage, compassion, forgiveness, patience, wisdom. Each soul has its own unique learning objectives, its own specific areas of growth. You discussed which souls from your spiritual family would join you in this lifetime, playing various roles to help each other learn and grow. Some would come as parents, others as lovers, friends, teachers. Some would even agree to play difficult roles, enemies, betrayers, challengers, because they loved you enough to help you develop strength and wisdom through adversity. This council session wasn't a quick meeting. According to the Codex, souls spend what would feel like years in Earth time carefully crafting their next incarnation plan. Every detail was considered. Every challenge was chosen with purpose, and you were the final decision maker. Nothing was forced upon you. Every aspect of your upcoming life was your choice, made with full awareness of the difficulties and opportunities it would present. The fourth stage involved choosing your specific life purpose. This wasn't just a vague intention to be good or help people. This was a precise mission statement, a clear objective that would guide your soul's evolution in this particular lifetime. Some souls choose to come back to heal generational trauma, breaking cycles of pain that have been passed down through family lines for centuries. Others choose to develop and express specific talents or abilities that will contribute to humanity's collective growth. Your purpose might be to learn unconditional love through caring for a disabled child. It might be to develop courage by standing up to injustice in your community. It might be to express creativity in ways that inspire others to remember their own creative potential. But here's what's fascinating. Your soul never chose a purpose that would be impossible to fulfill. You were given everything you needed, encoded in your very being, to accomplish what you came here to do. Your talents, your personality traits, even your flaws and challenges were all selected as tools for fulfilling your mission. That restlessness you feel when you're not aligned with your purpose, that's your soul remembering what it came here to do. That excitement you feel when you're moving in the right direction, that's recognition of your pre-planned path. The fifth stage required choosing your physical vehicle and family environment. This is where the Codex reveals something that challenges everything we've been taught about birth and genetics. You didn't randomly end up in your family. You chose them. You selected your parents not because they were perfect, but because they were perfect for your growth. Every dysfunction in your family system, every challenge you faced growing up, every gift and every wound, all of it was part of your soul's curriculum. Your body, too, was chosen with intention. Your physical strengths and limitations, your appearance, your health challenges, your genetic predispositions, these weren't arbitrary assignments. They were tools selected to support your specific mission and learning objectives. I know this can be difficult to accept, especially if you've experienced trauma or hardship. How could any soul choose abuse, poverty, illness, or abandonment? But your soul operates from a perspective that transcends human comfort and safety. It sees every experience as an opportunity for growth, every challenge as a chance to develop spiritual muscle. The souls who agreed to play difficult roles in your life, abusive parents, unfaithful partners, cruel teachers, these were often souls who loved you so much they were willing to take on these challenging roles to help you learn specific lessons about boundaries, self-worth, forgiveness, or inner strength. This doesn't excuse harmful behavior, and it doesn't mean you should tolerate abuse. But it does mean that everything in your life has meaning and purpose, even the painful parts. The sixth stage, according to the ancient text, is perhaps the most poignant. It's called the veil of forgetfulness. After all your careful planning, after choosing your purpose and your challenges and your family, your soul had to agree to forget all of this knowledge in order to make the human experience authentic. Imagine knowing the answers to all the tests before you take them. There would be no growth, no real learning, no genuine development of wisdom and character. For your soul to truly evolve through human experience, it had to experience genuine uncertainty, real struggle, authentic choice-making, without the safety net of cosmic knowledge. So you agreed to pass through a veil that would obscure your memories of the spiritual realm. You agreed to be born without conscious access to your soul's wisdom, your life plan, your understanding of why certain things would happen to you. But the veil isn't perfect. It was never meant to be completely impermeable. Throughout your life, memories leak through. In dreams, in meditation, in moments of deep intuition, in those sudden insights that seem to come from nowhere, your soul is constantly trying to remind you of what you know. That déjà vu you sometimes experience, that's your soul recognizing something from your pre-incarnation planning. Those gut instincts that prove accurate, that's your higher wisdom breaking through the veil. Those moments when you meet someone and immediately feel like you've known them forever. You probably have, in the spiritual realm where you plan this lifetime together. The seventh and final stage is birth itself, the great leap of faith. After all the planning, all the preparation, all the soul-level decision-making, there comes that moment when you must actually dive into physical existence. The Codex describes this as the ultimate act of courage. You, an eternal being of infinite potential, agree to squeeze yourself into the limitations of a tiny, vulnerable human body. You accept the density of matter, the confusion of emotions, the pain of physical existence, the loneliness of feeling separated from your spiritual source. But you made this leap because you understood something profound. The only way to truly develop certain qualities like compassion, courage, faith, love, is through direct experience. You can't learn to be brave without facing real fear. You can't develop compassion without witnessing and experiencing suffering. You can't understand unconditional love without having that love tested by difficult circumstances. Your birth was not the beginning of your existence. It was the beginning of a specific chapter in your eternal journey. A chapter you wrote, directed, and chose to star in for the purpose of your soul's continued evolution. And here's something beautiful. Even though you forgot the details of your planning, even though the veil obscured your conscious memory, your soul has been guiding you all along. Every major decision you've made, every path you've chosen, every person you've been drawn to, all of it has been influenced by the deeper wisdom that still exists within you. Think about the major turning points in your life. How many times have you made decisions that seemed irrational to your logical mind, but felt absolutely right to your deeper knowing? How many times have you been guided away from what seemed like opportunities that would have taken you off your true path? How many times have circumstances aligned in ways that seemed almost magical to support your growth and development? This is your soul's pre-incarnation, planning in action. This is the deeper intelligence you agreed to trust working behind the scenes of your conscious awareness. Now, here's where this knowledge becomes practically transformative. When you understand that you chose your life circumstances for specific learning purposes, everything changes. You stop being a victim of random events and start being a conscious participant in your own evolution. That difficult relationship that's been draining your energy, it might be exactly the classroom you need to learn about healthy boundaries. That job you hate, it might be teaching you valuable lessons about your true priorities and values. That financial struggle you're facing, it might be developing your resourcefulness and teaching you that your worth isn't determined by your bank account. This doesn't mean you should passively accept everything that happens to you. Remember, you chose this life to learn and grow, which means you're supposed to make choices, take action, and actively participate in creating your reality. But it does mean you can approach challenges with curiosity instead of just frustration, looking for the lesson or growth opportunity in every experience. And here's something even more empowering. If you chose your life circumstances for learning purposes, that means you also have the power to change them when you've learned what you came to learn. You're not stuck in any pattern or situation permanently. When you've mastered the lesson, you naturally move on to the next phase of your journey. But there's a reason this knowledge has been kept hidden from you. Think about it. If everyone knew they were eternal souls who chose their life circumstances for growth and learning, how would society change? People would stop being so easily controlled by fear. They wouldn't accept being told they're powerless victims who need authorities to protect and guide them. They wouldn't waste their lives in jobs they hate, relationships that diminish them, or belief systems that make them feel small and guilty. Conscious souls don't make good consumers of the fear-based narratives that keep societies controllable. They don't stay in their assigned boxes. They don't accept limitations that others try to impose on them. They become self-directed, purpose-driven, spiritually empowered individuals who trust their own inner guidance above external authorities. This is why the knowledge in the Codex Animae and similar texts was systematically suppressed. Not because it's false, but because it's so powerfully true that it threatens the entire structure of control-based civilization. But truth has a way of resurfacing when humanity is ready for it. And right now, in this moment of global awakening, more and more souls are remembering who they really are and why they're here. You can accelerate your own remembering through specific practices. Meditation creates the inner silence necessary to hear your soul's whispers. Journaling about your dreams and intuitions helps you recognize the patterns and messages coming through the veil. Paying attention to what truly energizes and excites you points toward your chosen purpose. Most importantly, start treating your life as if it has meaning and purpose, because it does. Every experience you have, every person you meet, every challenge you face is part of your soul's carefully crafted curriculum for growth. When you approach your life this way, something magical happens. You start making decisions from your deeper wisdom instead of just your surface fears and desires. You begin to see the interconnectedness of everything, understanding that nothing is random or meaningless. You develop what I call soul vision, the ability to see the spiritual significance in everyday events. You recognize the people who are here to help you grow, and you understand your role in supporting others' growth as well. This is how you begin to live as the eternal, powerful, creative being you truly are while still fulfilling your human experience. You don't have to wait until you die to reconnect with your spiritual nature. You can start remembering and embodying your true identity right now. And the more you remember, the more you'll understand that this lifetime is just one chapter in an infinite story. The consciousness you are has always existed and will always exist, exploring different forms of experience for the pure joy of growth and discovery. This perspective transforms everything. Death becomes a transition rather than an ending. Failures become learning opportunities rather than defeats. Relationships become spiritual partnerships rather than just emotional connections. Your entire life becomes a sacred journey rather than a random sequence of events. The ancient mystics who wrote the Codex Animae understood something that modern society has forgotten. Human life is not a punishment or a test. It's an incredible opportunity, an adventure. A chance for infinite consciousness to experience itself through the unique perspective of your individual soul. You are not here by accident. You are not a victim of circumstances beyond your control. You are a courageous spiritual being who chose to incarnate at this specific time in human history, because you have something unique to contribute to the collective awakening that's happening on this planet. Your very presence here, your willingness to keep growing and learning despite the challenges, your commitment to remembering who you truly are, all of this is making a difference in ways you can't even imagine. So the next time you feel lost or confused or overwhelmed by the difficulties of human existence, remember this. You chose to be here. You prepared for this journey. You have everything you need within you to fulfill your purpose and learn your lessons. Trust the process. Trust your inner guidance. Trust the love that planned this entire experience. And know that every step you take toward remembering your true nature is a step toward the freedom and empowerment that is your birthright as an eternal soul. Your awakening matters not just for you, but for everyone whose life you touch. As you remember who you are, you give others permission to remember who they are. As you live from your authentic spiritual nature, you create space for others to do the same. This is how the world changes. Not through force or manipulation, but through the gradual awakening of individual souls who choose to remember their true identity and live from that place of power, love, and wisdom. The knowledge was hidden, but it was never lost. It lives within you, waiting to be rediscovered. The choice, as always, is yours.